While Brillium Workspaces enable easy organization and management of assessments that share similar purpose and properties, they also allow administrators to create managed spaces for users and teams to work. The Brillium Administration application gives Brillium administrators the tools to create and manage users, teams, and user roles for all Brillium applications. A user is an individual that can log in and access the Brillium application, such as Brillium Assessment Builder. Several users can be collectively assigned to a team, which holds a defined set of access privileges that apply to all members of the team. A user role is a named set of software feature and function privileges that can be assigned to a user or team. For example, a user that is defined as a Brillium administrator holds the organization super admin role. In addition to having the ability to create users, teams, and roles, organization super admins are able to assign access to specific assessments and workspaces in Brillium Assessment Builder and to create customers in Brillium Partner Central. Let's look at a few example use cases to help illustrate how Brillium Administration is used to manage user and team privileges. In the Workspaces tutorial, we use the example of a small team tasked with creating practice assessments for our vendors to use for compliance training. This particular team's only purpose is to create our practice tests, but not to administer them directly or to review results. Let's take the example a bit further by creating a user and granting them access to the workspace used to create our Spanish practice assessments. We'll create a user named Troy for that team. To create a user, select Users from the navigation menu to view the list of users. Select Add User from the Users page. The minimum user information required is first name, last name, and email address. If desired, compliance-related information such as gender, birth date, and phone number may be optionally entered as well. Select the Roles tab to assign this user access privileges. We'll assign Troy the Author role. This will allow Troy to create assessments, related email templates, and manage files. In this case, we're assigning a user to Brillium Assessment Builder, so we will leave the application dropdown as displayed. To assign access to assessments, select Add Access. Here, we first select the workspace that contains the assessments for which we will assign access. We'll select ES-Assessments, which contains our Spanish assessments. From the Assessments drop-down list, we can select one or more assessments that we wish to grant Troy with access. We will select 2 assessments. If we wanted to add access to additional assessments within other workspaces, we could select Add Access and again follow the same steps. We'll save our changes. To create additional users, we simply repeat the process. Now that we've created a new user, assign that user a collection of privileges under the Author role, and we've assigned access for 2 assessments, let's look at what Troy will see when he logs into Brillium Assessment Builder. While creating users and assigning access privileges in this way works well for 1 or 2 individual users, it can quickly become overwhelming when we need to add a large number of users. This is where teams can make administration much easier. For example, if Troy needs help from another user, we will need to repeat the process we just completed by creating a user, assigning a role, and adding assessment access. If we continued adding users in this way, and later decided we wanted to assign access to a different set of assessments, we would need to go back to each individual user and make that change. Using Teams, we have a better way. This process will become much easier both now and in the future. A team allows us to assign access privileges to assessments and workspaces for a group of users all at once. It also lets us define a team role that can be different from the role assigned to each individual user that is a member of that team. Let's see how this works. We'll create a team for our Spanish assessment authors and assign access to the same assessments we assigned to our user Troy in the previous example. Select Teams from the navigation menu. Select Add New Team. We'll give our team the name ES Spanish Authors. We can leave reference ID blank for now. This is useful only if we want to associate the team with an external data source or our own identifier. Select the Users tab to assign users to the team. To grant access to assessments and workspaces, select the Assessments tab. Select the Add Access button. We'll select the ES-Assessments workspace from the Workspace drop-down list. We'll select the same assessments we assigned to Troy in the Assessments drop-down list. For the Roles drop-down list, we'll select the Author role. This role will apply to all members of this team regardless of their individual user role. We'll save our changes to complete the creation of the team. It is important to note that in this example, we are assigning access to assessments, but we could do the same for workspaces if desired. Now let's go back and change Troy's user role to help illustrate this even better. We'll select Users from the navigation menu. We'll select Troy, the user we just created, and change his access to instead apply to a workspace we've created just for him. To do this, select the Roles tab. We'll delete the current Assessment Builder Author role and select the Workspace Admin role. We'll delete the ES Assessments Workspace access we previously assigned, and instead we'll select Troy's workspace, the new workspace we created for him. We'll leave the Assessments drop-down list set to the default of All Assessments. This will give Troy access to all assessments created in the workspace, both now and in the future. We will save our changes to complete the task. Troy now has access to two different workspaces under two distinct roles. Troy has the Workspace Admin role to the workspace called Troy's Workspace. And as a member of the ES Spanish Authors team, Troy has access to the two assessments assigned to the team under the Author role, which will allow Troy to only edit the assessments assigned to the team. You can view a user's team membership in two ways. By selecting Users from the navigation menu, select a user from the list, and select the Organization tab. Or, select Teams from the navigation menu, then select a team from the list. Select the Users tab to view a current list of team members. Using Teams will make it easier when we need to add or remove assessment access for additional users in the future. It will also simplify the task of assigning a different set of assessments for the team to work on. For example, adding Wyatt to this team is as simple as selecting Teams, selecting the User tab, and adding Wyatt from the drop-down list. Like everyone else, Wyatt will immediately have author access to any assigned assessments or workspaces enabled for the team. While Teams makes assigning access privileges easier, it also does something more powerful. It restricts access privileges of users that may otherwise have greater access to assessments and workspaces when collaborating with other team members. What we just did is we changed Troy's access privileges and granted access to only one workspace. However, within that workspace, Troy now has the Workspace Admin role, which allows the creation and management of all workspace-related activity. However, for our ES Authors team, we don't want Troy to have the same Workspace Admin role. For that team, he is simply helping everyone to edit the assessments we've assigned to the team. For example, if we change the role for ES Authors team to Organization Admin, it would not give Troy more privileges than he is granted as an individual user. At this moment, Troy can have Workspace Admin privileges, but no more, regardless of the team role. To summarize this point, the user role is the highest level of access a user can ever be granted. The team role can only grant equal or lesser levels of access to any member of the team. Each individual user can be granted more than one role to more than one workspace, and each user can be a member of more than one team.